Here's one of the tests to see if you were brought up Catholic. It's a famous prayer, and if you know it, you can pray it with me. One time, someone, no, I better not say that example. Never mind. Anyway, see if you can say this prayer with me. Bless us, O Lord, and these thy gifts, which we are about to receive. Very good. You were taught well. Now, we have good cooks in my family. You know how we pray, bless us, O Lord, and these thy, instead of your gifts, thy, the Old English. Our family changed it to bless us, O Lord, and these fine gifts. Well, they are good cooks, so I guess we can say that. These fine gifts that we are about to receive. Now, I learned that prayer when I could start to talk. And I never knew what some of that prayer meant. Like a lot of prayers I learned, like, hallowed be thy name. Blessed is the fruit of thy womb. There's many things I didn't know what it meant, but just memorize it, right? And then later on you catch on. Actually, I think that's a pretty good way to learn. Well, the word that got me in this prayer is from thy bounty. When I was a kid, I didn't know what a bounty was. Then later I learned about a bounty hunter. That's not quite the same thing you're talking about here. And so I looked it up recently just to get the definition that Siri wants to give, or Wikipedia, you know, and it meant a generous gift. That's very important for us, I think, in today's word. The way we imagine life is often the way we imagine God. And we don't always imagine God to be really generous, bountiful, like a Thanksgiving cornucopia. Stuff that's good just poured out of it, you know? That's another word I didn't know what it was when I was a kid. I saw a cornucopia before I knew what it was. You know, that twisty cornucopia with the fruit and all that coming out of it. Hey, God pours it out. That's very important for us to know that God and experience that God, because otherwise, you know, you become what you worship. And often we have imagined and worshipped a God that seems very little, not so generous. Kind of like us, you got to earn everything, you know? You got to earn it all. And you better earn it. In fact, we look down on people if they don't earn what they get. People are often accused of wanting something free, or not wanting to have to work hard. That's very distasteful to us. And we kind of treat ourselves like that. We treat other people like that because we kind of think God's like that. But that's not the God I see here in the Bible. All you who are thirsty, come to the water. Jump in, drink. You're hungry, come without paying, without cost. Here's the part that always grossed me out though. Drink wine and milk. What's the point of that though? Back then, you know, you want to have a good crop of grapes. And goats were the main animal that they would herd, and, you know, goat milk, you know. So that meant you got plenty to eat. You shall delight in rich fare, a banquet. So listen to me, so you can come alive. That's not a stingy God. That's a generous God. And if I'm open to a generous God, what's going to happen to me? Instead of being grumpy, worried, always thinking I don't have enough, being stingy, unwilling to forgive, unwilling to give the other person a break, what happens is just the opposite. I'm generous. I'm willing to think a good thought. I'm willing to forgive. I'm willing to let you get away with something even. It's not like I've never gotten away with anything. Come on. You know what I found myself doing for a while too that's really funny is I'm thinking I'm impressing a police officer who's on the side of the road because I'm going the speed limit like I'm a good boy. As if he cares or she cares. You go so far over, they're going to get you. They're not going to say, oh, good Mark, let's put a star on Father Pete's paper. Take the second reading. Paul had to experience Jesus so great. What will separate us from the love of Christ? There's nothing. And by love, it's power and riches, grace, fulfillment, even defeating death. And so he says it, well, anguish, no. Distress, no. He had been in anguish and distress. Out on the sea for a couple nights in a shipwreck. He had been whipped and beaten. They tried to stone him and kill him a couple of times. He went hungry. So will famine? No. Persecution from others? No. Nakedness? Don't have enough to wear? No. Danger? No. Even the sword. The sword finally took his life. He was beheaded. What does he have to say? No. In all these things, we conquer overwhelmingly through him who loves us. And then finally, the gospel. Jesus has to get away. His friend John the Baptist is beheaded for speaking about morality to King Herod. And Herodias, the wife, plotted for his death. Jesus goes away to a deserted place, but people show up. He's tired. Can he send them away? No. He knows they're hungry, so he teaches them. He knows they're hurting, so he heals them. And then finally the disciples say, well, you better send them home. It's getting dark. People usually ate at supper time after it got dark. They worked most of the day. Send them home. This is a deserted place out here. You give them something to eat. All we got's 5 loaves and 2 fish. There's not enough. One of the biggest fears in the human heart. I can't be kind to you. I can't share more with you. There's just not enough. It affects us in our personal lives, in our family lives, in our parish life sometimes. In the life of the diocese, the church, sometimes parishes can't join one another and work together. Hey, that money I put in this parish, don't you be sharing it with them. We're all the Catholic Church. It's not even sharing it with another church. It's all Catholic. Can't do that. It affects our politics. Who's going to pay for it? Not me. It affects everything. There's not enough. You give them something to eat. Because God, from the cross, feeds us at that table infinitely. Can you forgive again? Yes. Can you give even when you're tired? Yes. Can you be generous toward other people? Yes. Can you pray fervently? Yes. Why? Because we conquer overwhelmingly. So Jesus showed them how. He praised God. To bless means to give praise to the one who gives everything. Once he blesses, now he can break it. He can share it. And not only does it feed all those people with their families, there's 12 full baskets with the leftovers. A symbol of one for each of the 12 tribes of Israel. So, what God are we worshiping? The God of not enough?